Gamer Feed Radio.
What's going on, everybody out there in podcast land? This is Gamer Feed Radio. What's going on, everybody? Yeah, they can hear you. It's unfortunate, but you're there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm your host, Nick Delicave. I'm joined this evening by a cacophony of complete idiots. Some of the usual crew now, for those who have listened multiple weeks in a row. I'm so sorry. But first up, our good friend who has had a little bit of a mini podcast vacation, and I'm sure he's thrilled to be back, the one and only Brad Wallace Esquire. What's going on, sir?
Hey, what's going on? I've been busy. I'm a busy man. I've been twerking. You know?
Wow.
You know how it is.
There's a whole lot of imagery there that should die. Just like you and Bieber hair, I'm told.
What?
And
I have Notorious.
There may be some pictorial evidence of said hairstyle, but before we get to
No.
God,
don't kill it.
I'm just saying, next up, the one and only computer genius extraordinaire, Newb, Mr. Dave Newb, what's going on, buddy?
Hello, how's it going?
Hey, you've been playing a lot of Overwatch on the Facebooks.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, lots of people.
Someone
I think
said
you've
watch
played,
it
what, like
over.
4 times maybe you've streamed it now? 4 or 5 times?
I thought it was 3 or 4, but
Something
I don't
like
know.
that. It's had over 1,000 views.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you go back and look at that, but people are literally watching you drunk play Overwatch, so you probably should keep doing it.
Just grab a bottle of whiskey on a Saturday and just Overwatch all night.
Yup, that might be okay. And last, and certainly least, the one and only, coming back for more torture, Rob Hugh. What's going on, Rob?
Nicholas, happy to be here. My love for you knows no end, at least not until I've hit colon.
Oh, my God. So this podcast will be explicit. Anyway, thank you for joining tonight, the guys. You're in store for some crazy news, most of the stuff from September and up till today, which is, what, the 3rd, 4th, something like that. The Noobs feed with all the news Noobs need to know. But before I get it kick-started, we would be remiss if we didn't do a brief rundown at the top of the show with all the things that you need to know about the podcast. So you can check it out, of course, on iTunes, on iHeartRadio, your favorite pod streaming service. We're out there at GamerFeedRadio.com, and of course on Facebook. Like I said, hit up Newman, like the page, and then you'll get notified every time he plays drunk Overwatch. It is entertaining, although I don't think you don't use your voice, do you? You don't like talk, which is dumb.
I thought I did, but maybe I did not.
Yeah, I think there was one time. I don't remember. Anyway,
the first time I did not have the voice on.
Yeah, you should permanently fix that problem. And you can check.
I'm assuming. Sorry, I'm assuming then you're a calm PvP multiplayer when you stream. You're not using your voice.
Doesn't he sound calm?
Well, it seems like it.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering because this is completely different from what Nick and I experience on Destiny.
Oh God,
so
all I do is
I'm
scream.
wondering.
It's F-bombs every other word.
Well, it depends on if other people in our team are playing. We've got a Discord server, my friends and I who play it, so we usually just chat in there.
Yeah, that whole multitasking thing, it can't happen. Anyway, the last place that you can check us out is, and you should follow us, is on Twitter at GamerFeedRadio, where all the people and things are, all the news, all the little snippets that we put up there, Brad's tidbits, and perhaps tidbits are all put up there online. They're also on our website. Everything's connected, so you can check it all out anywhere around the world. And yet again, for the 16th week in a row, I'm not sure what's in the water in California, but we're so happy to have everybody out there. We had a little bit of a surge in the UK, so thrilled to have you guys across the pond as well. So thanks for joining.
Cheerio.
Please don't patronize. They hate that, I promise. I'm kidding. So we'll get right down to it because, this is a Noobs feed. That means that there's music.
Oh, get out.
Yeah, you may not be able to hear it, but I hear it.
No.
It's the cool...
I think it's all just in your head.
It could be.
There's never been music, Nick.
So, the September Noobs feed with all the news noobs need to know. We know we spell it wrong, so if you're just checking the podcast out for the first time, please do not write in. Do not send us a love note. Do not comment. My God, the spam is annoying. Do you know you spell noob wrong? Yes, I'm clearly aware it's a pun. It's a play on words. If you really
Seriously, people do that?
Can you even believe the dumb? And if you really hate it all that much, please hate Rob on Twitter at PURW. Get him.
Well, thinking is, first of all, the pun, News news.
Right.
So Newb to go with that. And two, there's two different uses of that. Noob is somebody dumb. Newb is somebody that is just new to the game and doesn't know any better.
That may be true, but in the meantime...
That's the origin of the segment.
Yeah, I know, but I think gamers are clearly stupid, at least Brad, so...
What does it mean if it has two
Brad,
zeros?
stop commenting.
I'm sorry. It's me it's all my alternate accounts every week because I'm too scared to bring it up on the podcast.
Oh my God! Shut up. So while y'all are still debating that, we'll go ahead and get started. So for those that checked out the podcast last week, Rob and I did a really interesting Twitch stream of Destiny with our impressions. It was a colossal, hilarious, epic, dumb thing that. There was lots of noises. The sound effects on the podcast were actually pretty cool, but we're going to, we might stream a little bit more, but there's been some additional news, and I would be remiss, since Rob and I are currently neck deep in it at the moment, that we didn't put some news on here, because there's some interesting rumors, and I'd be curious to get Brad and Newman's response. So, first of all, last weekend was the first weekend for the return of Trials of Osiris. That's all the hardcore people. I can tell you I went in and just got completely wrecked. It's, somebody can just, think about pulling up their sniper, and they've killed you on the other side of the map through 16 walls, so welcome to Trials.
Sounds like Crossroads.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, right, exactly. And this week, today, actually, at 1 p.m. Eastern, began the new version of Iron Banner, which runs all week long, and there's been some playing, so it's kind of cool. They did some things. It's a little different. We can talk all about it. But before we get into any of that crap, rumors about Destiny 2 have started to kind of permeate, and of course they are just that, but it's always fun to speculate, and Brad has put his line in the sand many, many eons ago once the Crucible stole away his life, and he quit permanently. He said, I would never play it again until Destiny 2, a proper sequel. So rumor has it it's coming. We know it's coming sometime in 2017, fall of, and it might come to PC. Newman, what you think about that, son?
I'm excited for it. I always thought Destiny looked good, but I know it had the issues at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. But do you think? Because right now it does local hosts off your system and all that. I mean, do you think there's any kind of technical hurdle in that regard, or that they'll change the way they do their matchmaking process so they can include PC players?
I don't think that they can or really should include it. You're playing against each other competitively, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they should not have the mouse and keyboard go up against the players with the controllers.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. As it is now, everything is console specific anyway. So we're all in our own little we're all in our own little pools playing, and in our own little kiddie pools.
About that. That is
so
correct.
We don't cross pollinate with the Xboners,
which is a good thing. Nobody needs that. Ugh.
But I mean, and that's kind of reflected in we get the strikes early, we get the sublime engrams and such early, that they don't, which can only happen if we're completely separated. So PC will just be the same thing. It'll look better. It'll control a hell of a lot better for the competitive end. Yeah,
no, I totally forgot about that. So that's great. But I think it's interesting. There was one thing that I read that one of the things that Destiny prides itself on, and it does, is that its community of players are, really positive, generally speaking. You have a couple of idiot 12-year-olds that cause problems here and there, but there's a big concern about, when you start opening things up to PC where people are literally, drooling to, go shoot somebody with a fake computer gun, that there'd be, there's a concern that audience is more hardcore, more, it's different. They play games very differently. FPS means something very different in PC land than it does on console. So do you guys have any sense of that, or do you think that's just totally bogus, or what?
I think it'll almost be a separate sub community. I don't think that should be an issue for them.
So you can all hate each other. I like that plan.
I would think, if anything, because it's a little bit more the Uber player, I would imagine that, and I could be wrong, I don't know, but I would imagine that the maturity level would go up at that point.
Well, you're saying
that's
a lot.
concerned.
I mean, Newman's on the call, so.
Well, I don't know.
True.
I think it's finally their big push for like esports for Destiny. So like the big thing that was missing for literally these past couple of years was the private matches, right? Like forever you could only do like whatever you'd call it, like matchmaking, public matches. You could have like your party fire team together, but like you couldn't just like play with your buddies on a map separately from like the rest of public Destiny world. And finally, with like their move to PC and with their move to private matches and stuff, I think that's a big part of what they're trying to cash in on, because as we've seen with Overwatch, that's such a big hit. I think they're going to try to get a little piece of that pie. And I see it something more like Team Fortress, where the Team Fortress 2, this is like an old example now, but like the PC version was like, light years beyond what the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions were. Like the amount of updates it was getting and like the commitment to, what was kind of pre-esports competitive FPS kind of thing going on there.
Right.
I could see
what
a
I
similar
think will
thing
be
happening.
interesting is with the Xbox and the Play Anywhere, if they are going to push that sort of thing, how is that going to work?
Yeah.
Or you can
I think
have
that's only
both copies
like
of the game, but you can only
Microsoft
use
games.
like. I thought they were going to try to get them to get all of the developers to do
Like,
it.
Yeah, I'm sure I could. If there were one game they would try to do it, it'd probably be like a Destiny or something like that. Like a big deal game, not just some little baby game.
Right,
Well,
but if it's... Go ahead.
I was going to say, can it be a matter of you buy it one place, you can play it either, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the same community?
Files.
Yeah, but I mean, still,
Yeah.
because you've got it in two places, but you only bought it once. That still kind of, in my mind at least, fulfills the promise of Play Anywhere, without necessarily combining the communities.
Fulfills the promise that they made, but it's not like that kind of it doesn't meet the expectations that I feel like were set. But then again, on an online game like that, you should not be able to take your character in between communities.
Yeah, and especially when you're talking, especially when you're talking differing control schemes like that, I think it's pretty understood within anyone that considers themselves a gamer that controller versus keyboard mouse is separate and should be if you're doing anything remotely competitive with it.
Right.
So I can't imagine anyone being too upset if it does end up coming to Play Anywhere, but it's a separate community.
Very interesting. Well, I'm glad I brought it up. So the last point on this, and then we'll move on in the agenda, is so Rob, you've had some chance to play Iron Banner this week. What are your impressions, sir?
Well, I mean, I've been playing not hardcore, but I spent pretty much a day straight playing Supremacy matches earlier. But I've been dipping in and out of Supremacy Crucible a lot more than I have any time previous in the game. And so since Iron Banner being the same mode, it felt like I hadn't gone anywhere except that all of a sudden the players were better, which was nice.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily getting smoked. I mean, my light level is respectable at this point, but I'm not necessarily getting smoked by anybody, but there's fewer people that have their heads up their asses. Which was a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, just play Trials. That'll change. Where everybody teabags everybody.
I'm
just
not
a lot
going
of
anywhere
teabagging.
near
It's
Trials.
ridiculous.
Trials will kick my ass. I don't need that.
It's
I don't
worth
need
it
to be
going just to
reminded
get
of
your
my
book
place
done,
in the universe.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Brad, Newman, any other thoughts on Destiny, the future, what it may bring?
I was going to say a couple little tidbits that leaked out with Destiny.
Here we go with the tidbits.
Tidbits! Not just that it was going to be on PC, but somebody briefly described, this is, pure conjecture, whatever, but somebody described the worlds, like the planets, I guess, as less of, a menu selection item where you pop down and then, like, you have your quote-unquote open world, even though it's, like, a free roam, right? And separately you get your missions, like in Destiny. This will make sense if you played the game, but I don't think, Newman, you really have, so maybe this is weird, but
I've not even seen anybody play the game.
Right. So, like, the way the game works is you're in your spaceship, and it's basically your main menu. And then you click on a planet from a menu, and then you click on the mission list, or, like, you select your mission on the planet. But then separately, there's this little icon that says, like, free roam, which is, hey, just run around the planet and, like, go do collecty things, go shoot things, like, no real story missions going on there.
Patrol.
Patrol, right? That's what I couldn't think of it. God, thank you.
Free
You guys
roam
are
kind of
actually
sounds like
playing
people
it.
grazing, cattle grazing.
Well, it's kind of what it felt like when I played. But, it's just like, people getting their little ore, like moon ore or whatever.
Moon ore.
But anyways, the way this is me not playing this game in like 2
The
years.
unobtainium.
Unobtainium, yeah. No, that's No Man's Sky. That's next, anyway.
Oh,
But anyway, so I'll try to wrap this up. But like the world they described is more like Borderlands, if anyone's played that, which is your story missions are built into the world through like little towns almost, or like little outposts, rather than just your free roaming patrol, which has its own little quote unquote missions, but it's basically like kill 20 rats in a cave and then get like a blue engram or something. This is like your actual stories and raids. It's not going to be that menu so much anymore. It's going to be you go to Venus or some other new planet, and you actually get to like explore the world to do your missions rather than just selecting them from above. I don't know. It sounded way better to me. It sounded a lot more like Borderlands. I
Interesting.
already thought that Destiny.
Hopefully
kind of a rip-off.
Claptrap will be in it.
I think so, or not Peter Dinklage, right?
Oh, my God. Okay, so anyway, if you're interested in hearing more about our thoughts on all things Destiny, check out Rob and I's podcast from last week, 84. It's also on Twitch. It's on our YouTube channel, which I forgot to mention at the top of the show. Darn it. Go to YouTube and subscribe, and then you can see when we go live or when we post a video. All the podcasts are posted there. Moving right along, so we have made it no secret on this show that we are not particularly fond of what ultimately became of No Man's Sky, which is, the thing. And throughout September, there was all kinds of people crying, foul, buyer's remorse, you lied to me. So there's actually somebody who filed a lawsuit against the publisher for, quote, false advertising. So what does the panel think about that?
It's stupid. People are dumb. People are just flat out dumb. Like, the game might suck, but that has nothing to do with the game makers falsely advertising a good game. Like, that's like going to see Transformers 5, and the ad said it'd be an action-packed summer fun romp, but I didn't have any actionly fun romp. Like, yeah, I'm going to sue them. Like, it's just, no. Like, the game didn't live up to your expectations. That's your fault, not the game makers. At worst, they said... the Steam page used screenshots from an earlier build of the game?
Yeah.
Like, no. That's,
The videos they're like basically showing multiplayer. It's that 2014 E3.
Yep.
yeah, they show
and
multiple ships flying around together.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Liars.
it now. They still have not taken it down.
I guess. But, you look at, old videos of, N64 Zelda before it became Ocarina of Time, and Link was, all chunky and looked like,
Space World.
Link to the Past. Yeah, Space
Yeah, but
World.
there's a difference between something that's in development and what you're using as an advertisement for the game.
I guess.
Interesting.
They all
It's like-
trailers have, a
It's like
disclaimer
the
that
set
says
photo
not
versus the
representative.
trailer for the movie.
I guess, but I think literally every game trailer I've ever seen, or every trailer for everything, is this is a work in progress. This doesn't necessarily represent the final product.
I really feel
Like
like
that-
we should
But
have
that's
a.
not
I really feel like
that's
we
not
should
how
have
the
a
Steam
future
store is
episode
supposed to
where
work.
I guess I don't.
we should have a
I don't
future
know.
episode point counterpoint with just Brad and Newman talking back and forth to each other. It's hilarious.
I don't know. This is a weird case. This is like the weirdest case that's happening in video games, right? Because video games are always growing and patching, and who's to say that they won't patch it in, right? That's what's so weird about this. In a movie, you might get your director's cut, but in general, it's the same movie that you're advertising, right? But with video games, they can constantly change stuff. Who's to say next week they don't make Destiny black and white, no color in the game at all? It's just weird to me. I don't know.
They can
Well,
patch all
usually
that stuff
the-
if they want to, but they missed their window at this point. They're just throwing their money away.
Yep.
It's a very weird situation.
Tweeted twice. The development studio has tweeted it twice in the month since the game came out. So they're the ones who are to say or to not say, and they are not saying.
Yeah.
That's
they're-
probably a
they
good
got-
call on their part.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they get death threats and autistic teenagers, for lack of a better term, that got religious about this game. That there was this level of hype around this game in particular that was almost not seen anywhere else. I can't even think of another game that had half the hype that this one had, with its core rabid fan base.
Well, Last Guardian, we're going to see how that turns out in December.
Oh my God!
Well,
I'm so tired of hearing about it.
I can't wait for that game. I was just listening to the
Yeah,
Eco
it should have been out
soundtrack
already,
for it.
right? Dumb.
Yeah, well,
I mean, like that.
that's another one.
That's a whole
like-
other show topic about how they just need to stop announcing release dates.
I agree.
Just
yeah,
entirely.
completely.
Just be like, you know what? We're going to pop it out there when it's ready, and until then, shut up. Fall 2016, which could be any time between August and when I decide.
Well, that's completely valid, but in this case, I would say the bigger issue isn't necessarily that they announced they put the date up before they knew for sure, although that is the case. I think the bigger issue is that Sony treated this almost as though they put their marketing muscle behind it. They treated it almost like it was first party game.
Yeah.
And if they had just treated it like an indie release, like something that had been crowdfunded, they could have gotten away with things being different.
Yeah, es muy
or things
estúpido.
being in development. But it's because they put their marketing muscle behind it and they put it up on stage and all that. And because they were doing the talk show circuit last year. They were on talk shows with this thing more than a year before it came out.
Right.
Showing off gameplay. That's why it's the issue that it is.
Yeah, I mean, the story of this game is so weird because I remember they announced it.
It has
at, like,
a story?
Jeff Keighley's... Yeah, no, I'm not the story of the game. The story of the game's development.
Oh, I was going to say the game.
They announced
nothing.
it.
It's like nothing.
If you remember, they announced
Inventory management simulator.
Talking about non-obtainium. What?
No, Jeff Keighley's like barn GameStop award show. You know, it was like in this little shack with like haystack,
Barn.
and like this guy's like, "Here's our game, and it's gonna be like you fly around this." Do you remember? It was like in a barn. Am I crazy? Can I like hallucinate this? There was
You
definitely a
probably
video
did.
game.
You probably shouldn't
It
say
was-
anything further because you'll admit guilt. But anyway.
It was in a barn, and like Jeff Keighley was there, and Reggie showed off like Kirby or something like that. Like it was just like a really lo-fi, like nobody cared about it.
Hey, if you tweet at Brad M. Wallace, it'll send you back a reply automatically with his address. Please send the authorities.
Are you swatting Brad?
Wait a second.
That's a show topic.
Good thing
We're
this.
gonna be a
Good thing this isn't recorded
Sean Murray
live.
part 2.
Yeah, right.
No, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like that game started like announced in a barn, and then it ended up on Stephen Colbert's show. So like I don't know. It's very weird.
Yeah,
I
definitely
agree
crappy
with all of you
website.
and disagree with all of you at the same time.
How like every other show since the beginning of time.
Literally since like the first time I was on.
Yes, and all your shady dealings. Okay, so enough about No Man's Sky. If you fell for it, like I did, and many others, shame on us. We will learn the hard way to never, ever, 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 ever pre-order an indie game ever again. Okay, moving on. So, big news this past week. For those of you who are of the Amazon Prime persuasion, which if you're not, I can't imagine why you're not. Twitch and Amazon bought Twitch many years ago, and they've been a part of it for a couple years, I think now, and they haven't really done any kind of integration or anything. It's just kind of been its own free-form, freestanding thingy over there that does its stuffs. Well, this past week, they changed all of that. So now if you're an Amazon Prime member, you are automatically a Twitch Turbo, formerly known as, for the life of your Prime membership. And that gives you ad-free Twitch, and you can watch your favorite streamers, and it doesn't cost you anything. You get emotes and all that fun stuff that people like to do. You get some free
the color of your name in the chat.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You can.
Was it already a thing? I never
mean-
logged into Twitch before this happened.
Hey, I'm here to bring you up to the 21st century, Newman. But anyway, so so you have that, and then you have you get like a free indie game every month, and there's free extra stuffs for other games that are out there. Like there was a Hearthstone character or something that was released this past month, and you get a free sub. So what that means for those of you who don't know, and if you don't know, you should just go look at Twitch. For like $5, you can subscribe to other streamers. That money, I mean, you can follow anybody for free, but if you want to subscribe to them, which means you really like their content and you want to support them, you can pay this $5 subscription fee, and the streamer gets basically half of that, plus any ad revenue. And that's, you're kind of like, subscribe, like a Netflix or something like that, but to your favorite streamer. So everybody who's a Twitch Prime member gets that little perk, and then you can change it every month if you want. You can keep it on the same person if you want. It's entirely up to you. So my question to the panel is, and perhaps we should start with Newman, who admittedly is discovering all the things for the first time. Thoughts? Is this a game changer for the streaming community, for people who have Amazon Prime and like video games? What gives?
Well, I actually tried to stream on it the other night when I logged in for the first time, and I had to download some special software. Took a little bit of a performance hit, nothing like too terrible, but then the output was like 1 frame every 5 to 6 seconds. So I'm not the person to ask this, although I am trying to click the claim offer on Streamline, which is a $20 game on Steam, and the link is going nowhere.
Are you when you tried to stream, just out of morbid curiosity, what program are you using? XSplit or OBS? Or
OBS.
Something? Okay, well, OBS should work. It's like the idiot version.
It took a while to get the resolution correct because I wanted it to be 720p, but my monitor's 1440, so you got like an eighth of it.
Mm-hmm. Huh. That's weird. Because when we streamed, I don't know if you watched the Twitch stream that Rob and I did the other day. I mean, it was fine, and I just did that through my console. It was nothing big.
Yeah, I'm sure it's just like some settings I gotta tweak and play with, but
you should. And then maybe I'll give you access to the GamerFeed radio account and you can play.
Ooh.
Could be fun.
Word.
But other than the semantics of setting things up and stuffs, the concept, I mean, is it cool if, you were a streamer or you were interested in streaming or you wanted to support somebody who was really good at that? I mean, do you think that that's a cool way to integrate, or do you think it's completely stupid?
I think it's a good way to integrate. I mean, anytime they give me stuff for free, I am happy with them.
Right.
Like extra functionality that I'm already basically paying for.
Exactly, yeah. Like, I don't know, I see like a lot of the economy of, video game personalities moving this way. Clearly, like Patreon and, whatever they're called. But it's kind of cool that like Amazon is this gigantic entity, right? That they're kind of just like giving that away, like you were saying, 1 free sub. Like that's a way to, you're putting your same amount of money to better use, Right. I think it's kind of cool. Yeah. Even though I'm not into Twitch very much, but yeah.
I wasn't either until I was.
Nice.
Okay.
When Twitch played Pokemon.
Yeah. Yes, everybody was into it then.
It's like the greatest thing ever still.
Rob, what are your thoughts?
I have nothing to add on this.
Well,
I mean, I don't consume Twitch. I don't Twitch stream myself, so
same.
Well,
yeah.
Cool. I mean, from an Amazon Prime standpoint, it is nice when they keep they're making a concerted effort as time goes on to keep adding more and more things, like lending library on your Kindle and all that sort of stuff, more than just the free shipping to make it worth it.
Right.
So I mean, kudos for that, for adding in more things. I think this might be a little bit more niche than what they usually do.
Yeah.
But hey, more power to them.
Okay. No, that's legit. Well, I think it's great. I like watching Twitch. I like streamers. There are several of them. I have, in fact, given my sub to one because he's great and funny and very entertaining, and I enjoy watching him cuss out the screen at stupid people. So it's sort of my own, it's like living vicariously through someone else. It's great. But I'm not going to necessarily take care of the free game thing. I could care less. I just like that I can use it ad free and do my thing, which is great. As a passive person who's more of a casual consumer of that content, I think it's a great move. Thank you very much, and I can give free money to somebody who totally deserves it and works really hard to make me feel entertained every day. So I appreciate that. It's kind of like your favorite morning. The new version of your favorite morning radio show from way back in the day. Although some people still listen to Kiss, I don't know why, but that that kind of thing where it's funny, it's humorous, you make fun of people, it's self-deprecating, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Good on them. Okay, moving on. PlayStation Plus.
One last thing.
Go ahead.
They were also letting you upload videos instead of just streaming now too, right?
The old YouTube creeper. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that is a big deal here.
I totally neglected to include that, but you're right. They did announce that they will now allow you to upload content, video content, just like YouTube does, in a play, of course, to compete with them, and I think it's brilliant. It's good. I mean, I'm not saying that YouTube, we have content on YouTube. It's great. You can do, YouTube gaming. I mean, that's a thing, and we have an account on that, and our podcast stuff goes up there, and that's all there. But the fact that it's all in one platform, so if you're a Twitch streamer, you don't have to export stuff out, which takes forever and ever and ever, and give it to Twitch.
Upload it to 100 different sites.
Exactly. With all those connection things, it's so weird. And it just takes time, and then you're sitting there waiting and hope it uploads, and then, in the case of our podcast, it failed four times, and then finally on the fifth time, it was like, success! So, I kind of like that. If you're just looking for a one-stop shop, and since you're getting directly compensated on Twitch, if you're, a certified streamer, I mean, I think that's amazing. So, good call.
Word.
All right, PlayStation Plus, which recently has been getting a lot of crap in past months because of having meh selection as compared to the Xbox Gold Live, Real Life, Your Mom, whatever it's called now. But exactly. So the one game that really stuck out to me, I'm sure there was more, I could have cared less about any of the rest of them, was Resident Evil Remastered. Which I think is a good call on for a free game for the month. Brad, you're generally pretty big on the free stuff, so I thought I'd start with you.
Yeah, no, honestly, this is the best game they've put out in forever, right? This is a real game. It's not some 2D pixel art indie crap, It's a actual real video game. Oh my god, this is shocking to me that they would do this. So that's exciting. I'm actually getting the PlayStation VR holla next week.
I'm so sorry.
So I'm going to wait to play that game in cinematic mode, right? That way it's even creepier. But yeah, even Transformers Devastation. I'm not even a Transformers person, but it's a fun looking Platinum Games kind of real game again. So it's actually pretty impressive that they've put out 2 real video games this month. So big on them. I think, I still have my Resident Evil GameCube copy, which is what this game is, but I'm still excited to play it on PS4 to get them trophies.
Okay. Anybody else have any other thoughts about it?
My only thought is that this is connected to the increase in the PlayStation Plus price.
Exactly, yeah.
They're giving you better games now, and they should have just openly said that that's why they were doing it.
Exactly, right. So the first month since the price increase, it's 2 actually good games. So I'd be much happier paying $10 more if I got, way better games, which hopefully this continues, but we shall see.
See, that's the big thing. That's my take, is wait until we see what we get in November.
Right, we're going to go back to
before we get
Squash
too excited
Bug
here.
6 on your mobile device.
Yeah. So
see, that's kind of been the story with this whole thing, is that it's that games with gold is arguably considered to be better games consistently.
I would definitely say that, yeah. Every time I see the chart, right, of what games are on Xbox versus what games are on PlayStation, I can't help but feel envious, especially given that they have the backwards compatibility. So they'll give out a game like Mirror's Edge 1 on Xbox One, but you can play it on the new system and on the 360. So stuff like that is impressive. Whereas on PS3, I still have my PS3, but I'm not downloading games for it, even though I'm still getting free games, quote unquote.
Right. Yeah. Well, I agree.
Not to be the pessimist, but like I said, we'll see what we get next month. If they had been more confident in their ability to consistently deliver as an ongoing thing, perhaps then they would have said something about it. But since they didn't, they're not necessarily on the hook for, hey, we raised the price so you're getting better games. Well, no, it's just here, have this.
Yeah.
We will, in fact, find out in just a few short weeks. But good call, though, on the pricing thing. I don't know that I had considered that.
Word.
Okay,
what we're here for.
So moving on, Nintendo NX rumors. What do we think we know? Why so long with any announcements? Ubisoft says it's Epic. Is that a good thing? And more. Begin.
I can't imagine Epic being a bad thing.
No, I mean, it's Ubisoft.
Let's put this in perspective. This is the game. I mean, this is their Just Dance platform.
Yeah.
That's what Ubisoft is looking for here. So if they got a new platform they can keep pushing out the Just Dance on, then they're happy and they're ready to go.
No.
I will say Ubisoft at least tried with the Wii U when no one else did. Like,
That's fair.
They even gave it Zombie U, which I only have played this PS4 Zombie, but I really like that game. I wish I would have played it on Wii U.
Yeah,
But,
they had Zombie U, they had AC3 port, and I want to say they also had a Rabbids game at launch.
They always have a
Yeah.
So
Rabbids
they were
game.
strong supporters.
They even did a Black Flag day and date with the rest of the game, or with the rest of them. So like that was their one attempt to be like, hey, we use up there with. Then it was, I guess. Wait, when Black Flag came out, that would have been PS3 or PS4 and Xbox One launch. But yeah, that was like their one final attempt to make Wii U a quote unquote real system. From a third party perspective.
And they didn't bolt when they saw the direction that Wii U was going, unlike, say, EA, for example, who coming out the gate for Wii U said they were going to be a huge supporter and blah, blah, blah. They put out 4 games, and then they ran for the hills.
Right, so not only... that Mass Effect 3 still pisses me off. The fact that literally the 360 and PS3 version of that game was $20 when they had the balls to put it on Wii U for $60. It was like the dumbest move, and then they like, oh, well, it didn't sell.
And no DLC. No DLC support throughout the
well,
lifetime.
that's I think a bigger issue than just the publisher. I mean, I think that's Nintendo being dumb about DLC generally until this later in this generation, I think.
It might be. They might have some rules behind closed doors that we don't appreciate that discourage them from putting this stuff out. Because I mean, if they've got it, there's no reason why they can't just. Well, I mean, a port's a port. Somebody still has to put work into it, but still.
Right.
Yeah, it's like you're presuming that like they're leaving money on the table, which I would agree with, right? Like by not giving people anything. Yeah.
So what do we think about why it's taking them so long to make any kind of announcement, which by now, by all accounts, I think, if you go back to September, I mean, a lot of people are like, it's going to be in September, and then they're like, oh, it's going to be in October.
It's going to be in November.
We're not going to hear anything until next, year sometime, right?
Oh, Lord.
No, we do know of
the 5-year anniversary of the Nintendo Direct is October 21st.
That was a little graspy at Charles. I did see that report, but who knows? I would love to be a believer.
Yeah, they're not exactly consistent into celebrating anniversaries, Metroid.
Right. Yeah, even this year is the 30th anniversary of Mario and Zelda, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I know.
But you get Mario Run. You get your all those Zelda amiibos, right? Are they coming out this year?
Well, I think clearly they're waiting to let Color Splash Paper Mario come out, which is like their last Wii U game, it seems like. And that comes out, I think, Friday. So once that comes out, then I think we'll maybe see them talk about NX announcing an announcement,
Announcing the announcement, Apple style.
But I still think we'll see it within the month of October. Just my gut says. Because November's too crowded, and December is like, same deal, right? Too crowded. And January would be a little too close to their supposed March release.
I think it's going to get delayed. I think we're going to be looking at a 2017 release because this is exactly what they did with Zelda. This is exactly what all the publishers, all the big guys now, with the exception of Sony that interestingly, made the choice to do the Neo at the end of the year. They're hedging. Everybody hedges. So they put it out there to get you excited and amped up and make you excited. And I'm going to pre-order the game. And then, 2 weeks before it's supposed to come out, oh, well, we made the decision to delay. Thanks for your $60. And I might give you this extra emblem in your games that you think that you feel special. In the meantime,
that's not an emblem. It's a sticker.
Whatever. It's stupid. It's just dumb. And, gamers keep paying for stuff. They keep buying it. They keep falling into that same trap over and over and over. Just so they can play the game first at midnight when it comes out, man. 2 months later than I thought. Man.
I think, honestly, the trend of video games, which we're going to see more of going forward, is that companies are going to have a shorter window between when they have formally announced something and when it comes out. So, like, Fallout 4 is the best example of this. Like, everybody kind of knew that game was happening. Like, there was no big secret about a new Fallout coming from Bethesda. But then they waited until June of the year it came out to like fully unveil, hey, Fallout 4 actually officially announced. Here's a trailer. Here's some demos, yada, yada, yada. And then the game came out in like October. That's like a 4-month period. And and that's, Bethesda, like one of the biggest game makers on the planet. So I think we're going to see more of a trend of that rather than No Man's Sky, which is it literally will come out 3.5 years after we announce it. Like I think, and NX is part of that. Like I still think it's on track for a March release, whether it's 2 different consoles, whether it's one hybrid thing, whatever it is. I think something NX related. See, right?
Whatever.
Something NX comes out
Get some
in
paddles.
March, guaranteed. I'd bet my life on it. I just think they're waiting to shorten the window between when they announce something and when it comes out.
I think up to this point, I think their reticence to talk about it has been pure, unadulterated fear that something's going to leak, because I think that means that because they're always afraid of somebody else finding out what they're doing and doing their own copycat thing. We saw that during the Wii era with the move. Yeah, so it's justified, right. Sure. But I mean, I think that because they've been so tight-lipped about this, I mean, we don't really know anything. The only information we have about this are from copyright filings, from reports from the manufacturers, things like that, all kind of nebulous stuff that's kind of, you hear enough times so it's like, okay, it must be this. But still, there could be other things going on. But I think that by virtue of them being so tight-lipped this time around, I think they're terrified, and I think that means that it's very different from, like there's something really new that they're really excited about, and they really want to keep close to the vest.
That means we're going to get it. Oh, God.
That perhaps we don't know about. Who knows?
God.
And I also agree with Nick's take that even taking all of that in consideration, not wanting to talk about it for fear of something leaking and a copycat, by virtue of the fact that we're getting this close, I think means that it's going to be delayed.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I still don't think so. I don't know. We'll see.
I think they will because, you know what? March always seemed weird to me anyway, because it's like, well, why not just wait 2 or 3 more months until E3 and then just do something big there and sink all your marketing dollars into something that's going to get, you know, wall-to-wall, all-day coverage for 5 days or 2 weeks or whatever.
When are they going to announce the 4DS then?
4DS. Shut the whole thing makes your body shake.
I will say maybe they do what they did. So there was a big Pokemon Super Bowl ad this year, right? And then Pokemon Go comes out, and it's like the biggest thing on the planet, literally for like those couple weeks.
That would be great if they did that.
Yeah, so like February, you know, Super Bowl comes around. They do their
Everybody's watching Lady Gaga at halftime, and then all of a sudden Miyamoto's dressed as Mario telling you about new Nintendo.
Stop it. No.
I'm just saying maybe they do their big push saying, you know, assuming it comes out in March, which I still bet my life that something comes out in March, Nintendo hardware related.
We will see. Newman.
With regards to, you know, their release schedule and all of that, I just want to submit that the last thing that they teased like this, the last major thing that they said, oh, this is coming. Weren't we supposed to have, was it 5 mobile games in 2016?
Yeah.
We've had 2.
So, Brad, I hope that you're betting this on not your last ninth life, because you've bet your life a lot, and I'm pretty sure you're almost out, kitty cat.
Well, we know, I don't know. I still think, I bet by the end of the month we know what NX is. I'm pretty confident.
I love that.
There's a lot we, like, happier. Kind of almost know based on, like, the development kits and everything.
Yeah, but even that is still, it's amazing that more hasn't come out, you know?
I know.
That shows just how
all that I've been able to find is, like, what processors are going to be in it. And there was the update today that it's going to be, like, an even newer one than that.
Yep.
Right, so all we know is that, like, NVIDIA is kind of doing stuff with them. And, like, it's like this, there's not quite enough to sink your teeth in, but it's enough to, like, it's, like, frustrating.
Yeah, I bet the NDAs for those dev kits come complete with a salaryman with a cattle prod.
I'm gonna get you, boy. Okay. Well, anything else with regards to anything about NX? You know, I think it's, you know, we'll wait and see, which is all that I feel like I ever do anymore with the video game industry. It's all wait and see. Very rarely does anybody actually deliver on what they say they're going to do. I mean, you have the flashiest trailer in the universe and all the hype train behind it, and it comes out and it's just garbage. That is quoting Brad. Garbage. So garbage. So you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
There is a new gaming tablet out that looks like what the NX says it's gonna look like.
Yeah, that Chinese one. Yeah, you sent that article.
Yeah, it's got like a 3D screen to it, but it's got a bunch of like processors and like GPU and like just a bunch of things that I have never heard of, which I feel like is not a good thing for them.
Well, if you haven't heard of it, that means I'm nervous. And I mean that genuinely.
It's definitely not like AMD or Intel or Qualcomm or any of those big guys that like
It's
people would
gonna
recognize
break.
their name.
So it's going to break is what you're saying.
Yeah, probably.
Yep.
It's also run on Android, so I don't have faith that they're going to like give you actual games.
So it's going to be an Ouya?
Pretty much.
I really hope. I really hope. Oh, okay. Well, enough about Nintendo. They upset me every time we talk about them. And it's only because I want for them to be so good, and I know they can, and I know that they just keep stepping in it because, oh my gosh, we have to iterate on the iteration of the iterative iterating, and it's like, just let it go. Put a damn box in somebody's living room with a controller that they can push the buttons, and the thing does stuff. Why does it have to be complicated?
Well, honestly, the fact that they announced Breath of the Wild for it shows that it's going to have some kind of traditional, like, sticks and buttons, and
Great.
Like
you
it's not going to be
Wii
so
Wii controller if you had one, and you can bring your Wiimotes, and you can bring your steering wheel from the Wii, and you can bring your N64 button touchy rumble pack attachment. I mean, who gives a crap? How about just give me a damn controller that works? I can push buttons and play a damn game that I enjoy and make games that I enjoy making, and quit. I'm going to give you the 16th screen built into this chip put in your earlobe. I mean, who cares? God, it's just dumb.
We'll see.
Anywho, since Kyle isn't here, I feel like the next thing on the agenda is moot. But I will mention it anyway, only because I think we talked about it a couple shows back that we got the word that South Park, the fractured butt hole with a space, is delayed.
Very cautious wording there.
I really tried to put spaces so that it didn't sound like fractured butthole, because that wouldn't be funny or joke worthy. Anyway, Kyle's not here to tell us how upset and frustrated he is, which wounds me deeply because I was kind of hoping that he would hop on with perhaps one beverage to give us.
Perhaps it's for the best, because that way now the audience and us get to imagine how sad Kyle is. And the imagined version,
so sad that he couldn't come on.
It's possible. He's
He's
Just sitting there with his beer
week.
crying.
I will.
Because wasn't Final Fantasy 15 also supposed to come out this week, or was that last
Stop
week?
it. Yes, it's November 29th. Hurry up.
God, poor Kyle.
I can't wait for that game.
Now I'm sad for him.
I know, isn't it amazing? Okay, enough of that empathy. We can't have any of that on the show. No empathy for anybody. Okay,
seriously though, I mean, it sucks whenever something you're really looking forward to gets delayed. We always go through the whole thing of it's
game
better.
Industry today.
Yes, it's better to get a good game eventually than a shitty game now. Okay, sure, that's great and all, but in this
No
particular
Man's Sky would have done that.
uh-huh. See, there is some value to be had in the cautionary tale.
I think this is great. Here we go. I have a great idea, guys. I think that we should just create our own video game magazine and entitle it Delayed. I just think it would sell millions.
We don't start talking about a game until it's been delayed.
Exactly, and since that's all of them, we'll have like the best, biggest, fattest magazines ever.
We'll have like all the info on the game by the time we like write a word about it.
Exactly. I think it's genius. Why hasn't IGN or somebody with money gotten on that? Okay, good on them. So we mentioned it kind of in passing, but Mario on mobile. The question I posed to the group in the agenda, everyone, was, we've been there, done that, referencing, of course, Pokemon Go and other Nintendo ventures into the mobile space, Miitomo and some other things. So we'll pause here just quickly and go around the table. What do you all think about this Mario Run, Shiggy hopping on the stage with Apple and making the announcement?
Give us some official emulators. Like, we don't want new mobile games. I don't necessarily want new mobile games. I want to be able to play like a Super Nintendo game on my phone on an official Nintendo emulator, so that they can make like the ad money or get the dollar from buying the game or whatever. And
no, they're not going to do that, because they're going to come up with their new mobile home hybrid system that's going to give you a third device to carry around in your pocket, and you should then play it that way. I'm just saying.
Well,
I don't know.
As long as I buy the game, why do they care what I play it on?
Because it's Nintendo, and it has to be their sandbox. That's how they are.
I don't know. I'm psyched for Super Mario Run. I think it'll be good. I think the fact that it's the real Mario team making it. It's not like some B team.
Well,
it's a B team than the real team, but right.
Well, what I really like about it is when Miyamoto gets up there and he's like, oh, he's doing the commercial and he's like, oh, I'm playing the game, and he's reacting, and in one of the scenes he's eating a cheeseburger, and the first thing I thought was Brad eating a cheeseburger while using his thumb frivolously and probably inappropriate ways, making the phone move the character on the screen.
The new segment, Nintendo Cheeseburger.
Nintendo Cheeseburger.
Hey, Nintendo Banana.
Nintendo Banana.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm sad. R.I.P. Pouring one out. Much love.
Sad face. I don't know. I mean, I just think with the way Mitomo happened and Pokemon Go's rise and crash, I just feel like it's gonna be the same thing. They'll make them several millions. Everybody will buy it because it's a Mario game, and then they'll be like, "This is stupid, man. It does two things, and it's dumb. I'm not gonna stupid." And I think that's exactly what it's dumb.
The Pokemon Go watch also out this week.
Yep.
Yeah, the little Pokemon Go Plus.
If only they would have had that a couple months ago, and everybody cared.
Actually cared, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure they ran into manufacturing delays.
Hopefully, lesson learned. They ran into the same problem with the Wii. Rob, come on. There's just not enough systems to support everybody. Nope. It's
true.
They suck.
Well, apparently they're
chain.
not to sidetrack us too much, but apparently aren't they looking for? Didn't they order like 10 million NXs for the first year, something like that? Was that the rumor?
My God,
they did, yeah.
I saw that, yeah.
I think if it sells like the Wii U does, they'll have plenty of inventory.
All for that gimmick. Put this in your eye, little boy. Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, I think Mario Run will be another huge, massive flash in the pan. It'll do huge numbers. Yep. It's not for us. It's for the moms, sure. And the lapsed gamers. It's for the casual market, and it'll be huge with them. And then they'll move on to something else because that's the way the mobile market works.
Yep.
So I mean, we look at Pokemon Go and we I think kind of more hardcore gamers I think kind of look at that as kind of a failure because like, oh, it was great, and then it just fizzled out. I think that's the best case scenario for mobile. I think that's the best you can hope for is the massive upfront numbers because everything fades off like that. Yeah. Because that's the way the at least the iTunes App Store works. I don't know how it's like on Google Play or whatever
it's the same.
The Google Store is. But I mean, like you can't find anything on there. It's all about the curation on the actual store as to whether you actually find something or not. So you've got your initial push when it's first out there, and then after that, I mean, it's just going to get lost, and your numbers are just going to fall off. So that's all you can hope for is that big initial push, get a whole bunch of downloads. Hopefully, there's some microtransactions so you can keep the investors happy, and then just write it off and move on to the next thing.
Yep, I agree. Yeah. I don't think you're going to have a classic like the original Mario, for example. Which, by the way, additional tidbit, apparently the world speed record for beating the first Mario was beat this past week or something like that. I read it.
That happens like every week.
Oh, my God. Shut your face. Go buy an amiibo. Okay, moving on. So, interesting.
Zelda's coming.
It's coming. You got to go get your 8-bit to call your dealer. So there was a rumor, things about Battleborn, which this is way out of my league. I just put it in here, so I'm going to defer to Newman, who should hopefully know all the things. Because I'm
watching the trailer for the first time right now. I know people are excited about it.
I really hate you right now. Anyway, so Battleborn, apparently the rumor is that it's to go free to play because I guess numbers are plummeting and all that. Thoughts?
The least surprising thing in the history of video gaming.
Yeah,
I think like 10 people bought that game, like 2 digits. At most, like between 10 and 99 people bought that game.
Kind of looks like the shittiest version of Overwatch possible.
It's like Overwatch meets a MOBA, meets Borderlands, meets
It does remind me though. We forgot with the Twitch Prime that Amazon's making games now.
Oh, they've been making games. They make like tablet games for Fire.
No, like actual like PC games.
Grumble.
I kind of wonder if that isn't going to end up like the GameStop games.
I was going to say
partnership.
GameStop did the exact same thing, right?
Yeah, where basically it comes down to it's a corporation throwing money developers' way.
Yeah, well, they apparently developed like a graphics engine that they want to sell to people.
Oh.
So it'll be like the new Unreal Tournament where like, okay, here's a free game, but it's just basically a commercial for the tools to build the game.
Right.
This is
That's
news
cool.
to me.
I'm just glad I don't care. I just put it on there because it was news, but anyway.
But yeah, Battleborn,
Battleborn,
they needed to go free to play. Overwatch totally ate their lunch and then took a dump in it.
Some people are excited about it. It is showing up on the store, $60 for the base game, $75 for the
for gold
deluxe version. I paid $40 for Overwatch. Like there is something wrong with their pricing there. I don't know if free to play is like the knee jerk reaction, but
didn't the console price drop like $20 within the first month?
Yeah, easily, right?
Oh, for Battleborn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
that
thought
game was
that,
on sale at Target like instantly, right?
Yeah, I mean, it might have been the situation of, the MSRP is still the same, but it's a sale. It's a temporary thing just to get people to buy it.
Oh my
rather than admitting that, Overwatch spanked us hard and called us daddy.
Wow. Wow.
It honestly just looked like a crappy game. Like it, if you look at like screenshots or like videos of it, it's just like your HUD, right? There's like all these meters and numbers flying around and bars and like timers and like, oh my god, it just looks like a nightmare version of like the worst case.
Looks like Brad's favorite game development.
No,
well, I mean,
a ton of stuff happening on the screen.
I mean,
way too many people in this match. Looks like.
Wow.
Yeah.
So enough about that. If you're a fan, clearly we're not. So you can just.
Well, if you're a fan, you probably have the game and also are not terribly excited.
I wonder if there's got to be like one guy out there that like knows all the lore. It's like Battleborn lore. It's got all the.
Oh my god.
the factions.
Well, I mean,
oh my god.
And on some level, this is a little bit of apples and oranges. But I mean, didn't Evolve get a legitimate spike when they went free to play? In numbers?
I'm still excited for that to be free to play on PS4 because I always wanted to play that game, but I was never going to dump $60 into it.
Never.
But then part of that too
but
is
I'm gonna spend $400 on a headset that's not proven. I'm Brad.
Hey, no, Res Infinite alone is worth unlimited amounts of money. So back off, y'all. Back off.
I don't know. You did pre-order it, and that's always a no-no.
Yep. Mr. the King of I'll never pre-order anything and I don't buy DLC. I'm so ashamed.
No, this is one case where if it weren't for Rez, there'd be no way in hell I would ever buy the VR. Like, literally, I don't think you guys understand how much I love the game Rez. Like, it's Ocarina of Time, maybe the first Metal Gear Solid.
Why don't you try
and
to
then
describe it to us, Brad?
It's like the greatest thing ever. It's like, imagine the best movie,
That's not
the
how
best
you typically
album.
describe things that you love. I mean, is it like you love the hair? Are you a leg man?
No, this is how I'll describe it. This is how I describe Rez. It's like your favorite movie, your favorite album, and your favorite video game all in one experience in a virtual reality where, like, everything you see is the game. There are no windows. There are no, like, it's
so you have
virtual
an affection.
reality.
You have an affection. You don't love it. Come on.
I'm just saying, imagine like the dream version of something like Breath of the Wild meets Skyrim meets Lord of the Rings in VR. Like that's
why
the
can't
level
you just be more
of
like Donald Trump and take the bait, okay? I'm trying to get to a really, gutter innuendo, and you just won't go there. So I'm done talking to you.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not orange.
Worst case, like I've said, worst case with the headset, if it's a total dud, I just sell it and I get, some odd hundreds of dollars back from it. But
I can't wait to hear you complain about it on a future show.
No way. I bet I start crying in the episode. It's like, it's so good. You guys.
I haven't seen sunlight in weeks.
Seen the light.
I have to have vitamin D
the first
supplements.
Time Mountain Dew IV.
Yes. And Dorito. Give me Dorito. Okay, so the last thing, and I want to try to keep it as close to time as possible. I put on here something about, Scorpio rumors, and, it's just a continuing saga of dumb. Does anybody have any comments about that or any other things that you'd like to discuss if you'd like to skip over Scorpio for this particular show you're welcome to?
I'm in, like, if they make the Scorpio, like, amazing somehow, I've always been, like, marginally interested in an Xbox One, even though I don't really have time to play video games, I feel like. But, like, there's so many games coming out, like Sea of Thieves still looks so fun to me that, like, if a game like that takes advantage of Scorpio and, like, I can get stuff like Rare Replay, I'm still, like, open, assuming I have mountains of cash and nothing to spend it on, which is not likely, but, But, I'm still cautiously optimistic about Scorpio. I think Scorpio will be leaps and bounds better than crappy PS4 Pro. So, good on them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Any other comments or reaction on Scorpio or any other topics that you'd like to discuss? Newman, did we get all
I
yours?
just did a quick Google search for Scorpio, and the headline that keeps popping up is Xbox boss says don't worry about Project Scorpio's price, which makes me worry about it. It's going to be like $800.
Yeah.
The story here is Phil Spencer was doing an interview, and he had said people shouldn't be worried. This thing is going to be unlike any console price you've ever seen. They didn't design it that way, which to me is the most marketing speak nothing.
Absolutely, and as a marketing person, I approve. Because
people like all the YouTubers and the gaming journalists and everything are like, oh, this means it's going to be less than $600 because that's a console price that we've seen before. So the prediction before this was, oh, it's such high-end tech, it's going to be $900. It's going to be huge. And so this is like kind of a half-handed way of kind of backing away from that some people are running with and saying, oh, that means it's going to be less than. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean anything. It means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same company charging $135 for a controller, so who knows what we're going to get.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be. It's obviously for a higher end market anyway, with the specs that this thing is rumored to have, with the teraflops and the whatnot. And I mean, anybody that cares that much about it that isn't already on PC is going to be willing to pay whatever they want. I mean, this is totally the whole the whole PS3 second job scenario. I mean, they can charge more for it and get away with it, and I think they know that too. So they're not necessarily. This means nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Teraflops.
Stupid. Newman, did we get all your topics? I just wanted to make sure that I didn't forget one. I thought I remember you saying something, but I just want to make sure.
I think you wanted to hit the Chinese NX knockoff.
No, I think I covered everything on that.
We kind of covered that.
Just ran through the specs real quick and the how they're not going to have a market on the device for games.
Yeah. Any other news or other tidbits that you came across that you'd like to share before we wrap the show?
Tidbits.
No.
Emphasis on tiddly.
No.
Tidbit.
Tidbits. Emphasis on tiddly.
I feel guilty about that because I don't want to steal Brad's thing, but it's just so much fun to say.
It's a good phrase, you know.
I really want to have him, say it in that very annoying voice, record it and send it to me so I can make it a sound effect and put it into like an intro sequence. But anyway,
ooh, NX price. It was accidentally posted on a website in the UK, Tesco.com. It was like
I believe it converts
400
to
pounds, I think.
Which converts to $1 million.
No,
I want to say it's
450.
Yeah, I thought it was 350, but whatever the case.
Well, whatever, they'll sell it for $399.
If that's accurate, they're pricing themselves out of their market.
Yeah, totally agree.
Unless it's really really cool and people have to have it, but that's the problem with that. Like, we got that traction, and it's really cool. It's really different. It's on all the talk shows. Everybody sees it, and your mom needs to play it. Tell her I said hi.
Your grandparents in the nursing home for the brain games or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, but what made all that work was that it was inexpensive. So if they price themselves out of that market, they're not going to be able to hit the blue ocean numbers they want.
I feel like they win when they have the cheapest thing by a long shot, Like, compared to the 360 and the PS3, the Wii was like, practically free, in comparison. But with the Wii U being $350 for the good version and $300 for like the gimpy version, it was kind of like always gonna die. It just
they need to aim probably between $250 and $300 if it is that gaming tablet that they say it is.
And I still think it's not gonna be one thing. Like, I guarantee they sell a standalone portable gaming thing that's gonna be $200 or so, $250 at most. And then I bet they have a home console thing that's separate for about $200 to $300. And I think in conjunction they're going to share games and software. And that's kind of what they meant by NX becoming a platform, kind of like.
Or you might just get the premium package with the docking station with an extra processor in it.
Right, I'm sure they will probably bundle some kind of dock portable home thing all together. But yeah, who knows? At this point, literally nobody knows but Nintendo. But,
That's exactly right. And on that note, we're way over time. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the wrap here because the outro music has technically been playing for the last 2 minutes. So I hope everyone's enjoying the jams because it's great for me. Anyway, we're so glad that you joined us today. And remember, you can check us out on Facebook. Newman will be playing Overwatch over and over and over again while drunk, so you should definitely check it out. Also on Twitter at GamerFeedRadio. Of course, GamerFeedRadio.com. And all the podcasts are there on YouTube as well. So please give us a subscribe. That would be great. Please. Thank you. And, of course, we can be found on iTunes and on iHeartRadio each week on Thursday at 10 p.m. So, without further ado, once again, thank you. And until next time, gamers, peace.
Peace.